7 days. That's all it took for my wife to go from demanding a marriage boot camp experiment to begging me to end it. But let me start from the beginning, because what happened on day 3 changed everything. It was a regular Wednesday evening when she dropped this bomb on me. I was sitting in my recliner, watching the game, when she marched into the living room with that look. You know the one. The same look she gets when she's about to rearrange the entire house or sign us up for some couple's retreat we can't afford. "We need to talk," she announced, arms crossed, blocking my view of the TV. I muted the volume and leaned back. "Shoot, our marriage has gotten stale. We're living like roommates, not husband and wife." She started pacing, which meant she'd been planning this speech. "I've been doing research, and I found this thing called Marriage Boot Camp. It's a 7-day intensive program where couples implement strict rules and discipline to rebuild their connection." I raised an eyebrow. "Discipline? Yes. Structure. Accountability. Real commitment to making this work." She pulled out her phone and started reading from some article. Day-by-day challenges that force couples to prioritize their relationship above everything else. The way she said it, with that tone that suggested I was the problem that needed fixing, immediately set off my radar. But instead of getting defensive, I did something that caught her completely off guard. I smiled. "Interesting. So you want to run our house like military training for a week?" "Exactly. Finally, you're taking this seriously." "Oh, I'm taking it very seriously." I stood up, towering over her petite frame. "But if we're doing this boot camp thing, we're doing it right. None of this half-hearted participation trophy nonsense." Her eyes lit up. She thought she was getting her way. "Great. I already printed out the daily schedules and—" "Hold up." I held up my hand. "If this is boot camp, then we need a commanding officer. Someone to set the rules, enforce discipline, and make sure both parties follow through completely." "Right. And I thought we could take turns or—" "No." My voice went flat, authoritative. "Boot camps don't work that way. There's a chain of command. One person gives orders, the other follows them. No discussion, no negotiation, no backing out once we start." She hesitated for just a moment, probably sensing something in my tone she wasn't expecting. But her need to control the situation won out. "Fine. I'll be the commanding officer for the first half. Then you can." "Wrong again." I walked closer, my presence filling the space between us. "You came to me with this idea. You diagnosed the problem. You want discipline and structure? Then you get to experience what real discipline feels like." The confidence in her expression started to waver. "What do you mean?" "I mean, sweetheart, that if we're playing military for a week, then I'm the drill sergeant. You follow my orders, my schedule, my rules. No questions, no complaints. No, this isn't what I meant when things get uncomfortable. But I researched this. I have plans. And I have 15 years of marriage experience watching you start projects you don't finish." I picked up her printed papers and flipped through them. Exercise routines, meal plans, relationship-building activities. All very cute and Pinterest-worthy. These look like suggestions for a spa retreat, not boot camp training. She snatched the papers back. "It's a proven system." "Proven by who?" "Some blogger with a psychology degree from Google University." I chuckled. "Baby, if you want boot camp, I'll give you boot camp. But once we start, we finish all 7 days. No crying, no quitting. No, I changed my mind on day 2. The room went quiet except for the muted television still playing in the background. She was processing, probably realizing this wasn't going exactly as she'd scripted in her head. "So what are you saying?" she asked carefully. "I'm saying I accept your challenge. 7 days of marriage boot camp, starting tomorrow morning at 0600 hours. But we do this my way, with real structure and real consequences. Think you can handle that?" She straightened up, her competitive nature kicking in. "Of course I can handle it. I'm the one who suggested this." "Good. Then we have a deal." I extended my hand for a shake. 7 days. My rules. No backing out. She shook my hand firmly, probably thinking she was sealing her victory. Poor thing had no idea what she just signed up for. "What should I expect?" she asked. I turned the TV back on and settled into my chair. "You'll find out tomorrow at 0600. I suggest you get a good night's sleep. You're going to need it." As I unmuted the game, I caught her expression in my peripheral vision. The smugness was gone, replaced by something that looked suspiciously like doubt. But it was too late now. She demanded her boot camp, and tomorrow she was going to discover exactly what discipline looked like when applied by someone who actually knew how to maintain it. The funny thing was, she'd convinced herself this was about fixing our marriage. But what she really wanted was to prove she could control me better with structure and rules. What she was about to learn was that some games are dangerous when you don't know who you're playing against. Game on, sweetheart. Game on. The alarm went off at exactly 5:30 a.m. Not the gentle wake-up tone she usually set, but a sharp, military-style reveille I'd programmed the night before. She jolted awake, confused and disoriented. What is that noise? Day 1 begins in 30 minutes. Time to get moving. I was already up, dressed in workout clothes, clipboard in hand. Bathroom break, then report to the kitchen for morning briefing. She stumbled out of bed, still in her pajamas, hair a mess. This is insane. Normal people don't wake up at 5:30. Boot camp isn't for normal people. It's for people who want discipline and structure. I made a mark on my clipboard. That's your first demerit. Complaining about established protocol. Demerit? What are you, 12 years old? Second demerit. Insubordination. I kept my voice level, professional. 3 demerits result in penalty assignments. I suggest you adjust your attitude. The look she gave me could have melted steel, but she stomped off to the bathroom without another word. 25 minutes later, she appeared in the kitchen wearing workout clothes, face washed, hair pulled back. Still grumpy, but compliant. Outstanding. Now, here's your daily schedule. I handed her a detailed itinerary. Physical training starts at 0600, followed by nutritional preparation, household maintenance tasks, and relationship-building exercises. Each activity has a specific time allotment and performance standard. She scanned the paper, her eyes getting wider with each line. You want me to do a 45-minute workout, cook breakfast according to this specific menu, deep clean the entire downstairs, and complete relationship homework? This is ridiculous. This is structure. This is what you asked for. I checked my watch. PT starts in 3 minutes. Let's move. The workout was brutal. I designed it like actual military conditioning. Push-ups, sit-ups, running in place, planks. She lasted about 20 minutes before collapsing on the living room floor, gasping. I can't do anymore. This is too much. In boot camp, failure to complete assigned tasks results in additional training. I made another note. You'll repeat this session after dinner. You're joking. Do I look like I'm joking? She didn't answer, probably because I didn't look like I was joking. After she caught her breath, we moved to the kitchen where I supervised her breakfast preparation. The menu I'd created required precise measurements, specific cooking techniques, and presentation standards. Every mistake earned commentary. Eggs are overcooked. Temperature control is fundamental to nutritional preparation. The toast is unevenly browned. Attention to detail matters. Coffee is weak. Proper ratios are not optional. By the time breakfast was served, she was seething. But she ate in silence while I reviewed her cleaning assignments for the day. Baseboards, windows, organizing closets, scrubbing bathrooms. Military-level spotless. This is punishment, not marriage improvement, she muttered between bites. Third demerit. That triggers your first penalty assignment. I slid another paper across the table. After completing your regular duties, you'll also be organizing the garage according to this inventory system. Her jaw dropped. The garage? That's a whole day project by itself. Should have thought about that before accumulating demerits. I finished my perfectly prepared breakfast. Discipline means accepting consequences for your choices. Day 1 continued exactly like that. Every task timed, every performance evaluated, every complaint documented. She worked like a woman possessed, trying to prove she could handle my standards. By evening, she was exhausted, frustrated, and starting to realize this wasn't the relationship retreat she'd envisioned. Day 2 was worse. I'd raised the bar higher. Earlier wake-up time, longer workout, more complex meals, additional household projects, plus the penalty assignments from day 1's demerits. She was running on caffeine and stubbornness by noon. This isn't what marriage boot camp is supposed to be, she protested while scrubbing the bathroom tiles with a toothbrush I provided for detail work. According to who? Your internet research. I inspected her progress with a flashlight. You missed several spots. Start over. Start over? I've been scrubbing for 2 hours. Acceptable performance standards don't change based on time invested. I handed her a fresh toothbrush. Excellence is not negotiable. She threw the toothbrush across the room. This is insane. You're treating me like a servant. That's your 4th and 5th demerits today. Destruction of equipment and insubordination. I picked up the toothbrush calmly. Tomorrow's penalty assignments just doubled. Something shifted in her expression. The defiance was still there, but underneath it, I could see the first cracks of doubt. She was starting to understand that I wasn't going to bend, wasn't going to ease up, wasn't going to let her negotiate her way out of the consequences she'd asked for. "How many more days?" she asked quietly. 5. "We're just getting started." I checked my watch. "You have 30 minutes to complete this bathroom before dinner preparation begins. I suggest you focus on efficiency." That night, after she'd completed all her tasks plus the penalty assignments, she collapsed on the couch like a defeated soldier. I sat across from her, reviewing my notes from the day. "Any questions about tomorrow's schedule?" I asked. She looked at me with exhausted eyes. "Are you enjoying this?" "I'm implementing the structure and discipline you requested. Whether I enjoy it is irrelevant." I closed my clipboard. "The question is whether you're learning what you thought you wanted to learn." She didn't answer, but I could see the wheels turning in her head. 2 days in, and she was already questioning her brilliant boot camp idea. But the real test was coming tomorrow. Day 3 was when things were going to get very, very interesting. "Get some rest," I told her. "Tomorrow we implement advanced protocols." The look of pure dread that crossed her face told me everything I needed to know. She was beginning to realize that playing games with someone who understood real discipline was a mistake she was going to regret for 5 more very long days. Day 3. This was when everything changed, when she realized she'd bitten off way more than she could chew. But she had no idea what was coming. The alarm sounded at 5 a.m. sharp, 30 minutes earlier than the previous days. I heard her groan from across the bed, but she didn't complain. She'd learned not to rack up demerits before her feet hit the floor. "New protocol today," I announced while she stumbled toward the bathroom. "Advanced training begins now." "Advanced training?" Her voice was hoarse from exhaustion. "You've had 2 days to adapt to basic structure. Time to see if you can handle real discipline." I handed her a different colored clipboard, red instead of blue. "This contains your enhanced performance standards." She took it with shaking hands and read the first page. Her face went pale. "You want me to complete yesterday's full schedule plus additional tasks? And everything has to be done to military inspection standards." She looked up at me like I'd lost my mind. "This is impossible." "Nothing is impossible with proper motivation and discipline. That's what boot camp teaches." I tapped the clipboard. Notice the time modifications. Each task now has a reduced time allowance. Efficiency training. She stared at the schedule. Physical training extended to 90 minutes. Meal preparation with expanded menus and presentation requirements. Deep cleaning of the entire house, not just designated areas. Plus 3 new categories: administrative duties, relationship assessments, and what I'd labeled character development exercises. "What are character development exercises?" she asked suspiciously. "You'll find out. Get moving." PT starts in 20 minutes. The workout was relentless. I designed it like actual military conditioning, but with added complexity. Obstacle courses using furniture, timed drills, precision movements that required focus and stamina she didn't possess. Halfway through, she collapsed again. "I can't do this. It's too much." In real boot camp, failure to complete training results in recycling, starting the entire program over from day 1. I made a note. "Is that what you want?" Her head snapped up. "You wouldn't. Try me." I helped her to her feet, not gently. 7 more days of this, where you can push through and finish the remaining 4. Your choice." She pushed through. Breakfast preparation became a nightmare. I'd created a menu that required multiple cooking techniques simultaneously. Pancakes, eggs, 3 different ways, fresh fruit presentation, coffee service that met restaurant standards. Every element timed to finish at exactly the same moment. "The pancakes are burning while I'm preparing the fruit display," she called out frantically. Time management is a core military skill. Figure it out. She juggled pans, sliced fruit with shaking hands, and tried to plate everything according to my diagram. When she finally served it, 20 minutes late and visibly stressed, I inspected each element with surgical precision. Pancakes overcooked on one side, undercooked on the other. Fruit presentation lacks symmetry. Coffee temperature is below acceptable standards. I pushed the plate away. Unacceptable. Prepare it again. Again? I've been cooking for 2 hours. Excellence doesn't recognize time investment. It recognizes results. I stood up. "You have 45 minutes before your cleaning assignments begin. I suggest you work faster." This was the moment. This was when I saw something break inside her. Not her spirit, that was still fighting, but her certainty that she could handle whatever I threw at her. The realization that she'd unleashed something she couldn't control was written all over her face. But she started cooking again. The cleaning inspection was worse. I'd printed military housing inspection checklists and was applying them literally. Measuring distances between objects with a ruler, checking corners with a flashlight for dust, running my finger along surfaces to detect the slightest imperfection. Bathroom mirror has water spots. Kitchen faucet shows fingerprints. Living room magazines are not aligned according to specification. Each failure was documented. Each mistake assigned a point value. Current performance grade, 62%. Passing grade is 90% minimum. She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. 90%? That's an A-. Correct. Military standards don't accept mediocrity. I handed her the cleaning supplies again. You have 3 hours to bring this up to passing grade before your administrative duties begin. What administrative duties? I smiled for the first time in 3 days. Glad you asked. The administrative duties were my masterpiece. I'd created paperwork. Lots of paperwork. Relationship assessment forms, daily performance reports, goal-setting worksheets, progress evaluations. Everything had to be completed in detail, with specific formatting requirements and deadline schedules. You want me to write a 1,000-word essay on my marriage strengths and weaknesses? And complete a 50-question relationship survey? And fill out daily performance reports for the past 3 days? She was holding the stack of papers like it was contaminated. Documentation is essential for measuring improvement. Military operations run on proper record keeping. I check my watch. You have 2 hours. Handwritten, not typed. Legible penmanship is required. That's when she lost it completely. This is insane. This isn't marriage boot camp. This is psychological torture. She threw the papers in the air, watching them scatter across the floor. I'm not doing this anymore. I waited until every sheet had settled before responding. Destruction of official documents. Insubordination. Failure to follow direct orders. I began collecting the papers calmly. That's 3 major infractions. Do you know what happens with 3 major infractions? Her face was red with anger and exhaustion. What? Disciplinary action. Restriction of privileges. I stacked the papers neatly. No phone, no television, no social contact, no leaving the house without permission, plus additional duty assignments. You can't be serious. Deadly serious. You wanted discipline and structure. This is what real discipline looks like when someone fails to meet standards. I handed her the papers again. You can complete these assignments and continue the program, or you can face the consequences of your infractions. Either way, we have 4 more days to go. She stood there, papers in her hands, looking around the house like she was seeing it for the first time. The spotless surfaces she'd scrubbed multiple times. The kitchen she'd been cooking in for hours. The workout equipment still scattered in the living room. For the first time since this started, she looked genuinely scared. Please, she whispered. Can we just stop this? I get it. I understand what you're trying to teach me. Do you? I stepped closer. Because 3 days ago, you thought you could control me with structure and rules. You thought I'd fold under pressure and give you the obedient husband you wanted to mold. Her eyes widened. She was finally understanding this wasn't about marriage improvement. But we made a deal. 7 days. No backing out. Pointed to the scattered papers. So pick those up, complete your assignments, and maybe you'll survive the next 4 days with some dignity intact. She bent down and started gathering papers with shaking hands. That's when I knew day 3 had accomplished exactly what I'd intended. She wasn't trying to fix me anymore. She was just trying to survive what she'd started. And we were only halfway through. Day 4 started with rebellion. She'd had enough, and I could see it in her eyes the moment the alarm went off. Instead of getting up, she rolled over and pulled the covers over her head. I'm not doing this today, came her muffled voice from under the blankets. Failure to report for duty. I made a note on my clipboard. That's an automatic major infraction. I don't care about your stupid infractions anymore. She threw the covers off and sat up, hair wild, eyes blazing. This ends now. I set down my clipboard and looked at her calmly. No, it doesn't. We have 3 more days. Watch me. She swung her legs out of bed and headed for the door. I'm going to my sister's house until you come to your senses. I didn't move to stop her. I just waited. She made it to the front door before remembering yesterday's disciplinary restrictions. No leaving the house without permission. Her hand froze on the doorknob. "Go ahead," I called from the bedroom. But breaking restriction adds another week to the program. She stood there for a full minute, hand on the door, calculating her options. Finally, she turned around and came back, defeat written all over her posture. "I hate you right now," she said quietly. Noted, PT starts in 15 minutes. The morning routine was a disaster. She went through the motions with zero enthusiasm, openly defying instructions, deliberately performing tasks incorrectly. Everything was a battle. During the workout, she quit after 10 minutes. During breakfast prep, she burned everything on purpose. During cleaning, she did the bare minimum and walked away. By noon, her infraction list was longer than the previous 3 days combined. "Current penalty status," I announced, reading from my notes. "Restriction of all privileges extended through day 7. Additional cleaning duties added to days 5 and 6. Plus mandatory completion of all failed tasks from today." She was sitting at the kitchen table, staring at her hands. "What do you want from me? I want you to understand what you started." I sat across from her. 3 days ago, you thought you could manipulate me with rules and structure. You thought I'd just go along with your little game. It wasn't manipulation. It was exactly manipulation. You diagnosed our marriage as broken and decided I needed fixing. Your solution was to control my behavior through structured discipline. I leaned forward. Sound familiar? It should. It's exactly what's happening to you right now. The realization hit her face like a physical blow. "But here's the difference," I continued. "When you tried to control me, I turned it around and showed you what real control looks like. What real consequences feel like. What happens when someone actually follows through on discipline instead of just threatening it." She was quiet for a long moment. "So this was all revenge. This was education. You needed to learn that some people don't bend when you apply pressure. Some people push back harder." I stood up. "You have 2 hours to complete this morning's failed tasks before afternoon assignments begin. I can't do this for 3 more days." "Then you shouldn't have started it." I headed for the door. "But since you did, you're going to finish it." That afternoon, something shifted. Instead of open rebellion, she began following orders with mechanical precision. No complaints, no arguments, no emotional outbursts. Just cold compliance. It was almost worse than the fighting. During dinner preparation, she worked like a robot. Perfect execution, zero personality. When I gave instructions, she responded with yes or understood in a flat monotone. "Anything you want to discuss?" I asked during the meal. "No." "Any questions about tomorrow's schedule?" "No." "Any thoughts about the program so far?" She looked up at me with empty eyes. "You win. Is that what you want to hear?" "I want to hear what you've learned. I've learned that you're stronger than me, that you don't break under pressure, that I made a mistake challenging you." Her voice was completely devoid of emotion. "I've learned that when you decide to prove a point, you don't stop until you've destroyed the other person completely." The words hit harder than I'd expected. For the first time in 4 days, I felt something crack in my own resolve. "Is that really what you think this is about? Isn't it?" She pushed her plate away, food barely touched. "You're not trying to save our marriage. You're trying to break me down until I never question you again." I sat back in my chair, studying her face. The fight was gone. The spirit was gone. What was left was hollow compliance and resentment that would probably last years. 3 more days, I said finally. She nodded without looking at me. 3 more days. But as she cleared the table with mechanical efficiency, I realized I might have pushed too hard. Victory was supposed to feel better than this. Day 5 broke her completely. She woke up before the alarm, already dressed, standing at attention beside the bed like a soldier awaiting orders. No personality, no resistance, just empty obedience. "Good morning," I said, testing her response. "Good morning, sir." The words came out flat, mechanical. That "sir" hit me like a punch to the gut. She'd never called me sir in 15 years of marriage. The fact that she was doing it now, in that dead voice, told me everything I needed to know about her mental state. "PT begins in 10 minutes, I announced, watching her face for any reaction. "Understood, sir." The workout was flawless. Perfect form, precise timing, no complaints. She executed every exercise like a machine, pushing through obvious fatigue without a single word of protest. When she collapsed at the end, gasping for air, she immediately stood back up and waited for the next instruction. "Breakfast preparation," I said. "Yes, sir." She moved through the kitchen like she'd been doing it for years instead of days. Every measurement perfect, Every timing precise, every presentation exactly to specification. The meal was served at exactly the right temperature, plated according to my diagram, delivered without a single flaw. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt sick. "Excellent work," I said, trying to inject some warmth into my voice. She didn't respond, just began clearing the table with that same mechanical efficiency. The cleaning inspection was worse. She'd apparently gotten up even earlier than I'd realized, because every surface in the house was already spotless. Military-grade spotless. I ran my white glove test over every surface, checked every corner with my flashlight, measured every spacing with my ruler. Perfect. All of it. Outstanding performance, I announced. "Thank you, sir." No pride, no satisfaction, just acknowledgement. That's when I realized I'd made a terrible mistake. I'd wanted to teach her a lesson about respect and boundaries. Instead, I'd broken something fundamental in her spirit. The woman standing in front of me wasn't my wife anymore. She was a shell going through the motions of compliance while dying inside. "Let's skip the administrative duties today," I said. For the first time in 2 days, she showed a reaction. Confusion flickered across her face. "Sir, you heard me. No paperwork today. Have I done something wrong, sir?" The question nearly destroyed me. She was so conditioned to expect punishment that kindness confused her. "No, you've done everything perfectly." She stood there, uncertain, like a computer waiting for programming. "What are my orders, sir?" I set down my clipboard and looked at her. Really looked at her. The woman I'd married was strong, opinionated, sometimes infuriating, but full of life and fire. This hollow version standing before me was a stranger. "Sit down," I said gently. She sat immediately, back straight, hands folded, eyes fixed on a point somewhere over my shoulder. "Look at me." Her eyes met mine, and I saw the damage I'd done. Behind the empty compliance was pain, fear, and something that looked like grief. "What did you learn?" I asked. "I learned that I was wrong to try to control you, sir. I learned that you were stronger than me in every way. I learned that I should never question your authority again." Each word was a knife twist. This wasn't the lesson I'd wanted to teach. This was destruction. And what else? "I learned that you can break me whenever you want to, sir. That my comfort, my happiness, my dignity are all privileges that you can revoke at will." Her voice cracked slightly. "I learned that I am completely powerless in this marriage." Closed my eyes, trying to process what I'd done. When I opened them, she was still sitting there, waiting for my response like a good soldier. "That's not what I wanted you to learn." "I apologize, sir." What should I have learned? The formal politeness was killing me. I turned my wife into a stranger who called me sir and apologized for not learning her lessons correctly. I wanted you to understand that trying to control someone else is wrong. That manipulation disguised as help is still manipulation. That respect has to be earned, not demanded. She nodded. "I understand now, sir." "Stop calling me sir." "Yes, sir." She caught herself immediately. "I apologize. What would you prefer I call you?" "My name, like you have for 15 years. She looked genuinely confused, as if she'd forgotten we'd ever had a normal relationship. "2 more days," I said, more to myself than to her. "Yes, sir." Another automatic response she couldn't seem to control. That evening, I watched her prepare dinner with the same mechanical precision. Perfect execution, zero soul. She served the meal, cleaned the kitchen, completed her remaining tasks, and stood waiting for dismissal like a servant. "Go to bed," I told her. "Thank you, sir." She left the room without another word, and I sat alone at the kitchen table, staring at my clipboard full of notes and infractions and performance metrics. All the documentation of my victory over my wife's spirit. I'd won. She would never challenge me again, never try to control me, never question my authority. She'd learned her lesson about respect and boundaries and the consequences of manipulation. But looking at that empty chair where she'd been sitting, I realized I'd lost something far more valuable than what I'd gained. I'd lost my wife, and I had 2 more days to figure out how to get her back. Day 6. I woke up to find her already gone from the bed. The house was silent, but I could smell coffee brewing and breakfast cooking. She was up before the alarm again, completing tasks I hadn't even assigned yet. I found her in the kitchen, moving with that same mechanical precision, preparing what looked like a 5-star restaurant meal. "Good morning," I said, deliberately not using any military terminology. "Good morning, sir." The automatic response, delivered without looking up from the stove. I sat at the table and watched her work. Every movement was efficient, practiced, perfect. She'd become an expert at anticipating my expectations and exceeding them, but there was no life in it. "We need to talk," I said. She immediately stopped what she was doing and turned to face me, hands at her sides, posture straight. "Yes, sir. This isn't working." Confusion flickered across her face. "Have I failed to meet standards, sir? I can improve." "Stop." I held up my hand. "Just stop for a minute." She froze mid-sentence, waiting. "Look at yourself. Look at what you've become." I gestured toward her rigid posture. "This isn't you. This isn't the woman I married. I am whatever you require me to be, sir." The words hit me like a slap. I'd broken her so completely that she'd forgotten who she was before this started. "What if I told you the boot camp is over? Sir, what if I said we're done? No more rules, no more schedules, no more infractions." She looked genuinely panicked. "Have I disappointed you, sir? I can do better. I can follow the protocols more precisely." "There are no more protocols." I stood up, frustrated. "I'm ending this." She flinched at my raised voice, immediately dropping her gaze to the floor. "I apologize for my failure, sir." That's when I realized the full scope of what I'd done. I'd created a prison in her mind, and now she was too afraid to leave it even when I opened the door. I walked over to her, gently took her face in my hands, and forced her to look at me. "Listen to me. Really listen. You haven't failed. I have." Her eyes were wide, confused. "I wanted to teach you a lesson about respect and control. Instead, I destroyed the thing I was trying to protect. I let my hands drop. I broke you. And I'm sorry." She stared at me for a long moment. "I don't understand, sir. My name is not sir. It's never been sir. You've called me by my name for 15 years. I sat back down, suddenly exhausted. "I wanted you to stop trying to control me, but I ended up controlling you instead. And that's not who I want to be." "What do you want me to do?" she asked quietly. "I want you to get angry. I want you to yell at me. Fight back. Tell me I'm an ass for putting you through this." I looked at her hopefully. "I want my wife back." She considered this carefully. "You want me to disobey your instructions?" "They're not instructions anymore. They're just words from your husband who made a terrible mistake." Something shifted in her expression. Not much, but enough for me to see a spark of the woman I'd married. "You did make a mistake," she said softly. "Yes, I did. A big one. Enormous." She took a shaky breath. "I asked for a marriage boot camp because I felt like we were drifting apart. I wanted us to reconnect, to prioritize each other again. I know, but you turned it into a war. You made it about dominance and submission instead of partnership and growth." Each word was stronger than the last. The life was coming back into her voice. "You're right," I admitted. "I wanted 7 days of working together to make our marriage better. Instead, I got 6 days of you proving you could destroy me if you wanted to." Her eyes were starting to flash with anger. "Do you have any idea what you put me through?" "I'm beginning to understand. I stopped eating because I was afraid the food wouldn't meet your standards. I stopped sleeping because I was terrified of missing your alarm. I stopped thinking because every thought I had was wrong according to your rules." The anger was building now, and I'd never been happier to see her furious. "You turned me into a stranger in my own house, in my own marriage, in my own skin." She was really warming up now. "And for what? To prove a point? To show me who's boss? To show you what it felt like to be controlled," I said quietly. She stopped mid-rant, processing this. "But I took it too far," I continued. "Way too far. I proved my point on day 3, but I kept going because I was angry. Angry that you thought you could manipulate me with structure and discipline." "So you manipulated me with structure and discipline?" "Yes." She laughed, but there was no humor in it. "We're both idiots." "Agreed." We sat in silence for a moment. Then she looked at me with clear eyes, and I saw my wife again. "Where do we go from here?" she asked. "I don't know, but not with boot camps or control games or power struggles." I reached across the table. "Maybe we start with talking to each other like adults instead of trying to train each other like pets." She looked at my outstretched hand for a moment, then took it. "Deal," she said. "But I have one condition." "What's that?" She smiled, and it was the first real smile I'd seen in 6 days. "Next time I have a stupid idea about fixing our marriage, just tell me it's stupid. Don't prove it by making me live through hell for a week." I squeezed her hand. "Deal." The boot camp was over. The real work was just beginning.